Hello, welcome to the Highly Commended Grand Prix podcast. Woo, woo, woo. Yeah, we didn't win.
But we were on the podium.
We were on the podium.
Yes.
We were George Russell this year. Slightly confused how we got there, but very happy to be there. And then in the background saying, well, we could have won. We should have won today. No one was expecting us to.
Yeah, pretty much. But, I mean, I'm still really proud of us. So well done, girls, because we submitted that entry when we'd only been going for 4 months.
Big
so
dick energy.
to get a podium for that after we've grown and developed so much since then. Honestly, next year, the win is ours.
Yes.
Oh, in the bag. It was just a lovely evening.
Yeah.
It was fantastic. Realistically, whether we won, got highly commended, didn't get anything, it was just fantastic to be part of the conversation because our little Grand Prix baby is tiny. And for those of you watching, thank you so much for interacting with our podcast. And without further ado, I'm now going to go into another batshit crazy intro.
Oh, yeah.
Because that's what you came for. Everyone's like, no, they didn't, but I can't hear you, so shut up.
Can I add one more thing about the highly commended?
Oh, I thought I'd wrap that up,
but
actually.
go
But
for it.
I guess I'm not a dictator, so go ahead.
I was just going to say how rewarding it no. Say rewarding is again to say it.
You're now going to say the most bland. The cheese straws were nice.
I think they were from Waitrose. I've had them before.
Shout out Waitrose.
The Greer ones are better. Get those next year.
I really like the glasses they served. Nice handle, you know.
I didn't break any one of them. I know I was gonna say how validating it was to have them say our name when they were calling highly commended and to hear people laughing.
That is true.
Yeah.
Although they announced it as Grand Prix.
Did they?
Yeah. And then the host then said that Grand Prix were highly commended, and I was like, thank you. But the guy was like, Grand Prix. And I was like, no.
We're
because
not that fancy.
That actually makes us sound like pricks. We're self-aware assholes over here.
And without further ado, let's go into the intro.
Folks, let me tell you about Formula One, okay?
Oh, yes.
I know more about Formula One than anybody. People call me, people say, sir, you understand racing better than everyone. And it's true. It is true. Let me tell you about the Circuit of America's COTA. In Austin, Texas, beautiful track, the best track. They just extended the contract to 2034 because they know, everybody knows, you probably don't know. This is where real racing happens. 430,000 fans show up to this thing. Massive crowds, huge. The biggest you've ever seen. That's more than some countries, I think. That is, right? Yep, I'm right. We'll check that. The circuit itself, tremendous. 5.5 kilometers of pure speed. Starts with this massive uphill into turn one. I mean, massive. You know what it is. All together now. Huge. Very dramatic, very exciting. Then you got this high-speed section. I don't know what turns. The best drivers in the world. They're going flat out. Now, Max Verstappen, great guy. We had dinner once, beautiful dinner. The best steak you've ever seen. He's losing. Can you believe it, people? Can you believe it? I think he has 7 championships or something. He's losing to Lando Norris. Lando. Sounds like a Star Wars character, like one of those space bears. What a loser.
Lando is a Star Wars character.
Is it?
Yeah.
I knew that. But Max, he's very talented, drives for Red Bull. I don't drink them. They had it being run by Christian Horner, and Christian, nice guy, we're friends. He called me once for advice, and I think I really inspired him. There were allegations, total fake news, witch hunt, just like they did to me. The media goes after successful people. Christian was cleared, totally cleared, and they keep bringing it up. It's disgusting.
Us.
You know, McLaren have won it all. 2024, 2025 Constructor Championships. I bet you want to know why that's possible, and I can tell you, folks, it's Zach Brown. It's Zach Brown. American. He's made McLaren great again. He took a British team, and I love the British, wonderful people. Voted for Brexit, very smart. It was the great thing to do. Added American winning energy, and boom, champions. That's what Americans do. Zach gets it. He called me. He said, sir, we did it. I said, Zach, I'm busy. Don't call, because I'm very busy. And then we have poor little Oscar Piastri. Yes, he's not from America. He's not lucky enough. He's from Australia, I believe, which is ironic because he's a boring little koala bear. He wins some races, but he's got no star power. But it's clear that Lance Stroll is the one to beat this year. He's got a good, solid family behind him. He was like me. His dad gave him a small loan of $1 million, and now look at him.
Small white ass.
Young people love Formula One now. They're making it cool again. They're making it cool again. They even had Drake Milligan, Texas boy, never heard of him, but apparently tremendous singer, performing on the grid before the race. On the grid. That's entertainment. That's America. And you know what? Whoever wins, they need to thank me. Because without America, without Coda, without Texas, which I won massively, by the way, landslide, there is no championship battle. There is no Formula One, and Formula One knows it. And that's why they're staying till 2034, because Texas delivers and I deliver. And when it's all over, I'll tell you who really won. Because sometimes the results are rigged, folks. Some people, they don't count the points correctly. We've seen it before. We'll be watching that very closely. Now, let's make F1 great again.
Wonderful. My mouth was just open in a smile the whole time.
Easily one of your top intros.
Thank you so much. This will be in our entry for next year's Independent Podcast Awards.
Why is the accent sticking though?
This will be in our entry. And we will win.
It's gonna be huge.
It's quite addictive to keep doing, I'm not gonna lie to you. It feels kind of good. Also, I spoke with my right hand the whole time. He's the power of that man, very strong. I mean, racist and horrible, but very strong.
A fun accent to impersonate.
Yes.
And you do it well.
All right. Well, our views align, so. That was a joke. They don't align. I do like to grab the pussy, though. Sorry.
Okay, let's get back into the actual episode here. And Austin, Texas, sprint weekend.
Yes.
So that meant that on Friday we had sprint qualifying, on Saturday we had the sprint race, and then race qualifying, and then Sunday we had the race.
Yes, I know.
Weekend.
Jam-packed weekend indeed.
Yeah, I was going to say, you know what we've all done? Fuck all this weekend, apart from watch fucking cars go round over a fucking circle.
So let's cover off sprint.
Well, the main headline from Sprint Quali was the traffic chaos, may I let you know. Because for people that don't know much about the sport, do they just go around in a circle? Apparently they can't even fucking do that. So a dramatic end saw this massive long queue of cars in the pit lane with 3 minutes remaining. And it meant that they were all backing each other up and, well, not in like a morale boosting way. They were actually backing each other up. So they all wait at the end of the pit lane for the car in front to go. So they have a nice gap and then they go. And the people behind are all waiting in a big concertina whilst the clock is just ticking. So it meant that Yuki Tsunoda and Esteban Ocon missed to get to the line. Obviously, you need to get past the start-finish line before the time runs out to be able to do one fast flying lap. And they missed the chance to do so because there were so many cars waiting in a line trying to do the same thing. I mean, why don't they just get on with it? This is why they need horns on the cars.
I agree.
Beep, beep. And that would have...
never hear the commentators.
No, you really
beep,
wouldn't.
beep the entire time.
Can you imagine Yuki Tsunoda with a horn on his car?
Oh my God, the battery would run out on it so quick. Tsunoda was actually more tame than Bortoletto because Tsunoda came on and said, I mean, what? And then Bortoletto said, what the fuck was this? So... Remember he had a team sort of mentor try and calm him down, look at anger management. That seems to be working. Charles Leclerc battled from P16 to escape elimination, finishing in P12 after hitting traffic in the last corner. Lewis Hamilton showed early pace. Mercedes appeared less dialed into the track than usual. In SQ2, Norris topped the timing sheets. Sainz was showing, Daddy Sainz, was showing strong middle sector pace. Leclerc and Hamilton battled against each other on their final laps, with Leclerc making it P8 and Hamilton P10. If you remember, they were sort of racing each other to eliminate one another, but they ended up both being able to make it through. Kimi Antonelli was eliminated from SQ2 by 0.006 of a second
Yeah, that's
by
harsh.
Hamilton, which was astonishingly close. Liam Lawson had his lap time deleted after going wide on a corner. And then SQ3, Nico Hülkenberg briefly shocked everyone by going P1. Show off. Red Bull played the track evolution game, ensuring Verstappen completed his lap exactly last.
Yeah.
He was the last person to go. Bold strategy. And it fucking paid off
Yes,
because
it
Verstappen
did.
snatched pole with Norris P2 and Piastri P3. So the winners of that, who is it?
Max.
Max. There you go. Max Verstappen.
Briefly, Hulkenberg.
Yes. That's what
Very,
you look
very
for in F1. Very whiffs of victories.
For him, yes.
And then, of course, we went to the actual sprint race. We had a chaotic and low-key kind of satisfying, I'm not going to lie to you. Both McLarens were eliminated in a multi-car collision at turn 1,
Yeah.
which started with Fernando Alonso, who put up a very funny post on Instagram
Yes.
that said, luck meter, flatlining, recharging for 2026. That's me. That's me with all my New Year's resolutions right now.
He's such a funny driver.
But he
He's
knew about
so
Crashgate.
Well, he's still funny.
Is that all right then, is it?
Your opinions change every episode.
Literally. No, that's dreadfully unkind of me to say that it's pleasing that McLarens are out. I only say that because they're very polite with each other and they have been dominating most of this season. So to get them out the fucking way, sometimes it's quite exciting to see what the rest of the field can do when they're not involved.
Yeah, I mean,
Yeah.
we've had some exciting races the last, 3 races.
That's true.
Because there's been a McLaren out.
That's true.
Yeah, that's true.
Verstappen made a clear start from pole. Piastri attempted a switchback move on Norris and ran on the outside and then tried to cut back on the inside, but Hülkenberg dived down the inside of both McLarens. He got pincered whilst Fernando Alonso was attacking and bam, they all just went like bowling balls, really, didn't they? Piastri made contact with Hülkenberg's car, got launched into the air on 2 wheels. Hülkenberg's front wing went flying off. Yuki Tsunoda ran over it on the exit to turn 1. Fernando Alonso also suffered collateral damage and he had to end up retiring. And then neither McLaren driver was to blame. They were both innocent victims of the first lap chaos, and then a safety car was deployed. Although it was very funny, they threw over to Zach Brown and he said that it was amateur hour driving. And then later when they spoke to him, he said, I reviewed the footage, it was nothing to do with Hülkenberg. Sorry, I called him an amateur. That's my bad.
Well, actually, Lando also got a bit sassy in the media pen as well. Because for this whole weekend, there's been a lot of talk around repercussions for Lando around
Yes.
the last races incident where he, made contact with Piastri a little bit. And I mean, it wasn't severe contact. It was like a little tap.
That's true.
really. Like, it wasn't that big of a deal. The McLaren team had said that there were going to be repercussions as a result of him going basically against what the team rule is of you can race, but race clean.
Yes.
So when he was then in the media pen after being, knocked out, barged into whatever from the sprint race,
Yeah.
the interviewer was asking him, oh, do you think there's going to be repercussions for Piastri now that he's made contact with you? And he was just like, but he was hit into. They were just like, yeah, but you hit into him last race. And he was just like, yeah, but it wasn't his fault. He was hit into. And they were just like, yeah, but, and he was just like, he was hit into. And it kind of just got a bit sassy, stop trying. I mean, it's quite cute actually. It was a bit protective over Piastri a little bit.
Like a baby brother.
Well,
But yeah, a bit sassy.
the leading theory currently that's being reported is that the punishment involves giving Piastri priority in qualifying sessions for the rest of the season.
Yes.
Oh, damn.
Yeah.
As in order of who comes out of the garages first and stuff.
So if Piastri is struggling for pace a little bit and he wants Lando Norris to go ahead of him so he can get a nice tow, because Lando Norris being ahead would mean that he's punching a hole through the air aerodynamically, and it would give Piastri a nice amount of acceleration and a little added boost of speed
Bit of
as he
slipstream.
goes. Yeah. Or maybe he wants more space, he just wants clean air and an empty track ahead of him, so he says, no, I want Lando to go behind me, that's that.
Why would they ever accept that or apply it?
Well, I
Seems
guess
excessive.
it's incentive for them to actually race clean.
They are
this is
basically
the
letting
level.
Oscar in qualifying sessions be a number 1 driver, even though they have spent so long, so much energy, time, and face movements saying we don't have a number 1 driver here at McLaren.
Yeah.
Yeah, but I mean, Zach Brown has also said we're not telling anyone what the actual repercussions are, and they're probably so minute that you won't even notice.
Yes, that is exactly true. Now, he said, we're racing against 9 other teams, and I don't think you want to necessarily show your hand on how you go motor racing. We try to be as transparent as possible by confirming that action was taken, but he can't reveal what it is, to tell everyone everything. At the end of the day, we are at a sporting event. I don't know. I mean, he says that we don't want to show everyone our hand. It's the most talked about fucking policy that no one knows what it is about I've ever known when it comes to the grid. I mean, Max has made a few comments sort of being like a bit stupid, whatever, but the team is built around Max, let's be honest. So he doesn't have that problem. So you can go, different ways with it. Look at Ferrari. I don't know that they have a number one driver, but currently Charles Leclerc has got so much more experience and performance because he's been in Ferrari and knows the car a lot better, and Lewis is arguably still getting up to speed, that the difference in where they are on track means that they kind of just take it as this guy's faster, let's let him get through, vice versa. But there's no other talk in any other team to the level of McLaren of who is your number one driver, what's going on with the papaya rules. Papaya rules started off as a fun term, and now it's cursed them. Cursed them.
It really has.
Well, it makes sense for the other teams, because Max is essentially carrying Red Bull one-handed, and with Ferrari, like you said, Charles Leclerc is practically considered the number one driver, but it's also because he's been in the team for a lot longer than Lewis has. It's still Lewis's first year, so that also makes sense. But with McLaren, yes, Oscar is leading in the drivers' championship, but they're almost on the same level, and Norris is slowly catching up to Piastri as well. Yeah, this is especially the team where they shouldn't be having a number one driver, considering they both race on the same level.
Well, as well, McLaren needs them to just get on with just racing and securing a title, because they haven't had a title double since 1998. What I mean by title double is constructors and drivers championship since the I hadn't been born then. I'm so young.
Yes, you had.
Hey, you couldn't let me have that, bro. And Zach admitted that the papaya rules have taken on a bit of a life of its own. I'm like, no shit. Fucking hell.
You've let it.
That's the only thing we talk to you about now. Like, the fuck?
But while there's all this stupid papaya rules drama in the background, Max is flying.
Yeah.
And he's very slowly catching up, but he's no one would have considered someone but Piastri or Norris to be having a chance running in the Drivers' Championship. And the Max came in out of nowhere, and he's like, win here, win there. I'm going to beat Piastri. I'm going to beat Norris. And it's all because of their fault, because they're not focusing on their drivers.
And from the sprint alone, he's got himself 8 points, whereas both of those have got 0.
Yep.
I mean, also, it's crucial. Sprint races could be the decider of the championship this year, because there is so many additional points compared to a regular championship. So if we're looking at my header that says, can Max win? ? I mean, yeah, basically. Because he's outpointed. Is that how you say it? Outscored. Why would it be outpointed? He's outscored both McLarens in the past 3 races, despite Russell winning in Singapore. Red Bull's improvements aren't track-specific anymore, so they're not upgrading for this spec of car anymore. This race is Verstappen territory. He's had a very good track record here, 6 consecutive podiums, 3 straight wins, and he beat Norris in last year's sprint.
Yeah.
If we look at the last 3 of the 6 final races, Austin, which we've just had, Brazil and Qatar are all sprint weekends. There's 33 points available across a sprint and Grand Prix weekend compared to a regular Grand Prix weekend, which is just 25. So that jump, if he keeps getting more 8 points deficits, that could be the difference.
Yeah.
I think he can still win, personally.
Yeah, he definitely can.
So, after the safety car restart in the sprint race, Verstappen went off early and sped off into the distance. From there, lap 8, Russell made an ambitious dive on Verstappen at turn 12 for the lead. They both went wide and went off track as Russell locked his front tyre. Verstappen retook the position. On lap 9, Hamilton was able to overtake Leclerc for P4 after Leclerc went wide and went off track, because suddenly he was nowhere behind Leclerc and suddenly he was right on the gearbox of him, but it was because Leclerc went off track. And even though Max was sailing off into the distance, helping his own championship hopes, on lap 10 he was complaining about the ride height of his car. What gives? That's always the case with Max, and yet he drives through it easily. And then we ended with a second safety car between lap 16 to 19 because of the Stroll-Ocon collision.
Yes.
Can always count on those two.
Yeah.
So Lance Stroll and Esteban Ocon made contact at turn 1. Stroll locked up and torpedoed into the side of Ocon.
Yeah.
Stroll tried to drive away, but then parked up because, it's against the fucking rules to do so.
Yeah.
And the safety car was deployed, and the collision was entirely Stroll's fault, and he got a 5-place grid penalty for Sunday's race. and Behrman got given a 10-second time penalty for leaving the track and gaining a lasting advantage against Antonelli.
Yes.
And that was all she wrote for that. So Verstappen was 8 points up and is now 55 points behind Piastri and 33 behind Norris, which is ironic because his racing number originally is 33.
Damn.
It's all meant to be.
Finding links where
No
really
one's
aren't
looking
any.
for him. Yeah, no one asked for it either.
Okay, so that's the sprint done. Now race quali.
Well, it was all going swimmingly. We're all thinking, we've done this before, haven't we? And we have, but it was for the race quali, not the sprint quali.
Baby, I swear it's
Deja, baby, I can't go anywhere without thinking that you're there. Oh. Sorry, I just realised I'm not Beyonce. Well, Q1 started, and we had a red flag 3 minutes in from Haji the Cute.
Yes.
Who was, let's be honest, repeatedly hitting himself in the face and visor.
Yeah.
It was quite unpleasant to watch, to be honest with you. What I liked was that he had a proper sulk and he got out of the car and then he kicked something.
Yeah.
Fuck you.
I mean, was it like a self-inflicted error?
I don't know.
Okay.
Who am I? Fucking Isaac Hajar? I don't know.
Probably if he was hitting his visor, he's probably being like, stupid.
No, I mean, there were lots of wind issues.
No, he didn't fart. What happened was, it just seemed to be, he had it earlier in the weekend where he went through the section where he ended up crashing and the car just sort of jinked slightly, but he was able to catch it and he just went wide offline and then was able to stop the car from careering off. So it might have been a slight bump in the road that wasn't that visible, but for whatever reason, the car just wasn't happy, slightly unsettled potentially by a bump and straight into the barriers. Binned it.
Damn.
Damn.
And he is pretty hard on himself when he messes up.
My God,
Yeah.
is he?
Yeah.
I mean, there's sometimes when drivers get out and they look really unbothered and you think, oh, you just did that on purpose.
You just
Yeah.
wanted an early day off.
Yeah, lazy. But with Hajar, you can tell that he loves racing and just
Yeah.
wants to be in the car having a great time. So it was sad to see. Verstappen went P1 on used tyres before Leclerc took over on fresh rubber. Norris had a scary moment with the car sliding all over the place and bailed out for his first flying lap, then attempted a second run on the same tyres. Russell topped the timesheets on new softs before Verstappen reclaimed P1 with a purple final sector. And we had track limits. Stroll had his lap time deleted, inadvertently saving Yuki Tsunoda and was able to make it to Q2. Alex Albon plummeted from 8th to 19th after his lap time got deleted. And Franco Colapinto went from elimination to Q2 after other people's times got deleted.
I love that there was like a radio moment with Colapinto and he's like, I'm so sorry, you guys. And then like 2 seconds later, he's back in Q2.
Well, we had some strategic mind games because we heard Tsunoda saying Lawson is disturbing me on purpose.
Yes.
Which was very funny.
What a conspiracy.
He was suggesting that Racing Bulls were copying Williams' distraction tactics. That was that the Williams early in the weekend, they knew that they weren't going to make it through to the next queue. So they decided to just trundle around the track just to be there, just to be a fucking annoyance to everyone. And so Tsunoda felt that Racing Bulls of Lawson was doing the same thing to him, that he was just trundling around, taking up racing space just to piss him off.
But I mean, there's the rivalry anyway with the fact that Lawson obviously lost his seat to Tsunoda. And around this time last year, Tsunoda was also pulling this sort of mind game / sabotaging tactics with Sergio Perez, trying to get himself back in the main seat.
It's true.
So maybe he's doing that again. Maybe he was completely out of the way and Tsunoda's just being a bit of a drama queen.
Yes, there is two sides to every story, and we're not that invested to find out. So
There's Lawson's truth and there's Tsunoda's truth.
Yes.
I love the storyline of Tsunoda's truth.
But Lawson did say in the media pen afterwards, I have no idea what he's talking about.
Yeah,
I'm inclined to believe him.
I like the
Of
drama.
course you are.
Verstappen stayed in the garage for final runs because he was so confident that he would be fine in P1. And you know what? Cocky,
fucking
but he was right.
Yeah.
So then Q3, it was a Verstappen masterclass. Multiple lead changes. It was Leclerc to Piastri to Russell to Norris to Verstappen. Verstappen set provisional pole, nearly 3 tenths ahead of Norris. Piastri, disappointingly, only got P7 on used softs.
Yeah.
Leclerc spun on the final corner but kept his time, sitting P10. Hamilton locked up in turn 1, P9. And Behrman impressed with P3 on used tyres before having his lap time deleted. So again, a little whiff of victory. And final runs, there was a bit of a gamble because Max was told, we need to go, we're behind schedule. So they were worried that he might end up
not making it
to the line. And guess what? That's exactly what happened. He failed to reach the line in time for the final lap, but unlike everyone else, he didn't fucking need it.
Yeah.
Big dick energy. Leclerc initially improved to P2, then Norris stayed in P2 behind Max. Piastri could only manage P6, continuing his struggles of this weekend, and Antonelli held P7. So the result was Verstappen got pole.
Yeah.
Even though, realistically, he wasn't able to do his final run, so he had no right being there. No fucking business being there, and yet he still managed it.
Yeah. I mean, the McLarens aren't looking amazing this weekend, are they?
No, I think, I wonder if maybe the pressure of the fact they've got the Constructors' title all wrapped up.
The cookie is crumbling.
It's starting to really crumble.
Yeah.
And on top of that cookie crumbling, it's being dunked in Verstappen milk.
Yeah.
No, I can't say
Ew.
that. That's disgusting. Sorry. I meant as in his Max's charge up the field late in the season is like a cookie being dunked, like sort of adding to their problems. I don't mean it in some sort of salacious sexual sort of ejaculation
Of course you wouldn't know.
metaphor.
Just stop right there.
Okay. Thank you very much. I need somebody with a human touch.
Okay, let's stop right now.
Oh, yeah.
On that note, should we get into the race?
Let's do it! Da, 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 da. Max Verstappen, da, 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 da. Max Verstappen
Takes the win
Oh.
in Austin.
Why are we in EastEnders suddenly? Get out of my season. Hello, guys. Is this thing on?
Now, I'm not gonna lie, I missed the first half of the race. So
Yeah.
you two girlies are gonna have to fill in the blanks.
Ironically, you're a traitor.
Yes.
Nice. Nicely done. For context, I was doing the Traitors experience.
Yeah, for context, Nav apparently has other people in her life to spend time with apart from us.
Disgusting.
And we were hurt.
Yeah. Deeply.
We bitched about you the entire time.
Oh!
Okay, my first note on this piece of paper said, formation lap. A lot of drivers are complaining about the wind. What boring fucking note to talk about. Who gives a fuck? Okay, let's talk about it. I think that Max Verstappen has 3 people that he needs to say thank you to for this win. It's Charles Leclerc, Lando Norris, Lewis Hamilton.
Yeah.
Their squabble allowed him to build up such a big gap, and none of them even realised it. It's happening in real time.
Should we talk about the start of the race? Because
It was huge. It was exciting. Sorry.
No, but I wanted to say, before the race started, you were telling me that the track record with Austin is that for anyone who's positioned in P2...
Fake news, I didn't say any... I said 5 out of the last 7 people.
5 out of the... I don't remember.
Yeah, I can tell. What, you're quoting what I said.
You
I
said...
hope if you're about to give me and the audience some information, you can at least remember what it is.
You said 5 out of the last 7 races in Austin.
Yes.
The person who started in P2 ended up winning the race. So they
I said winning the race. I said they were able to overtake into turn 1.
They were able to overtake into turn 1, exactly.
They potentially might have been able to win the race. I haven't checked it.
Did you just make that up?
No, the commentary said it.
Okay.
You didn't hear it, so I stole it, and you looked really impressed.
It's called plagiarism, ma'am.
I wasn't going to say it on the podcast. She's brought it up.
That was interesting to bring up.
Okay, go on then.
Anyway, reportedly, allegedly, if you start in P2, you have a more likely chance to overtake and potentially win the race.
Yes.
So when we were watching the start of the race, I was thinking, ooh, is Norris going to overtake Verstappen? Is this going to be his moment? And then no. Verstappen.
And he just didn't do it.
Just loser. Verstappen just flew by. Anyway,
I think he drove by.
Yeah,
by.
I want you on the official commentary box. I don't want you here. I want you in the commentary box.
Loser.
All vibes, no facts. Source, trust me, bro.
And you 3 are retarded. Well, I thought it was interesting because the Ferraris decided to do a split strategy on tyres because Leclerc started on soft tyres and Lewis Hamilton started on medium tyres, which was what the rest of most of the field were doing. A couple of people went on hard tyres. That was short-lived. Boo, bad tyre. Didn't like it. Swapped it right off.
That is not a good tyre.
Not a good tyre. You know it's bad. It's huge. At the start of the race, everyone was a bit like, what the fuck is he doing here? Which I feel like the problem with Ferrari is that even when they do something clever, everyone at the start is like, that's stupid. You're dumb. Good luck, loser. And then later they're like, that was actually really intelligent from Ferrari. But they really don't give them much credit until they have to.
With Ferrari, you have to wait and see how it plays out before
That
you
is
try and
true.
support them.
That is true. But I feel like if Verstappen had soft tyres on, everyone would be like, that is a bold strategy. It's very exciting to see how this turns out. With Ferrari, they're like,
Because
that might
you
not
just
work.
don't know whether or not it's thought out or if they've just pulled a random piece of paper out of a hat and said, okay, we'll do this one.
I mean, yes, I can't validate that, so I don't know. But the fact that Leclerc was on soft tyres meant he got a faster launch off the line. Why was that? How did he get a faster launch off the line, Reem?
Because
Let's
it was
talk
on
about it.
soft tires.
That's I need more information.
Soft tires make you faster.
Why?
And Red Bull gives you wings.
because they don't need as much time to warm up as medium or hard tires, so they give you more speed in the beginning, but they degrade a lot more quickly, so you have to do a pit stop more quickly because of the bottom of the tires.
Okay, for everyone that can't see now, she was rubbing the bottom of her foot, mentioning grip, and
the
Reem
rubber
just
starts to wear out. The
Grip.
grip,
They have more grip.
they end up having more grip.
They just always have more grip.
they end up having more grip.
They always have more grip.
They
Soft
always
tyres.
have more. Soft tires always have more grip.
Than
Hard or medium tires.
nice. There we go.
Yes.
Okay.
With medium tires, they take a bit more longer to warm up, so you might have a bit of a slower start, but they last a bit longer. And then the hard tires, they last the longest, but they take the longest to warm up
Yes.
and to get more grip.
Yes.
Yeah.
Well done. Good
Thank
work.
you. Thank you.
Good work. Took a while. Probably get cut out in this ep, but well done. Took a while to get there.
Now?
I'll just put it in full-time speed.
So Leclerc was able to overtake Norris, get into P2 using his soft tyres to great effect, and Hamilton was able to overtake Russell to get into P4, neither of which I thought was going to happen whatsoever.
Damn.
So then we had a yellow flag. Alex Albon was going slowly. We never got to the bottom of why. The coverage did not tell us. But after lap 2, Max was able to have a 1.5 second gap to Leclerc.
Damn.
Yeah.
So he really scampered off into the distance. Piastri was having to defend hard from Russell in P6. Sentence I'd never thought I'd have to say. And from there, on lap 3, started Norris's campaign to try and get past Leclerc. He didn't get past Leclerc until lap 21. I mean, it was a fair battle, and Leclerc defended beautifully.
Yeah.
But it took him 21 laps to get past a Ferrari. Obviously, he had soft tyres on, but I was still very, very surprised. A McLaren earlier in the season, light work. From a Ferrari, light fucking work. Leclerc made his car look like the McLaren, and it looked like fucking Lando Norris was driving the Ferrari.
There were moments where Norris was so close, and they were like going through the corners as well, so it was even more difficult. And you would think that they were about to crash into each other. That's how close they were.
Yeah.
But Leclerc was just on it today.
Yeah,
Like
literally.
he just was able to defend so well, no crashes, and Norris ended up having track limits multiple times because of trying to
And what flag
overtake
did he
Leclerc.
get?
Black and white.
Yeah, if he got one more, what would he have got?
Penalty.
Yeah, how many seconds?
5.
Boom! I have no more to teach you. So, once Lando had managed to get back up into P2 and Leclerc had been dispatched back to P3, on lap 23, Leclerc then boxes and he goes on from soft to mediums, which realistically ended up being the fastest strategy of the day. So, well done to Ferrari. But that meant that Lando then had to extend his stint to be able to create a gap to be able to pit into. And that proved very useful for Lando Norris because by lap 25, Verstappen has an 11-second lead. So he's gone. No one's catching up with him. That's that. And Leclerc was left with the task of having to do 33 laps on a medium tyre to make this strategy work. So on lap 33, Lando then locked up his tyres quite badly going into a corner, and then he just went on the radio, box. And his engineer, Will Joseph, said, yes, box this lap, and then boxed from mediums onto soft tyres. When he came out of the pits, he was behind Leclerc, so then we had to do the whole same fucking fiasco that he did in the first stint that he had to do. So we had to overtake him on track, which then turned into another drama for Lando Norris. He made a lot of work out of it, didn't he?
Yeah.
So he then had to catch up to Leclerc, which he was doing very quickly. And then by lap 36, he was back in DRS to Leclerc. And by lap 40, he was saying, yeah, my tyres are gone. I can't do this anymore.
Gosh.
Nothing's going right. So his tyres were 6 lap old from qualifying. And he was also running behind Leclerc very closely, which obviously heating up the whole car and his tyres. So he needed to cool off a little bit.
Dirty air.
Exactly. Max got told, Lando's complaining about his tyre, this will be more fragile, so we need to look after our tyres, Max. Lap 43, Norris's tyres were starting to grain and he dropped right back from Leclerc. Lap 46, nearly all hope was lost. Norris said, I'm just slow. I don't have any grip when I'm close. And then his engineer said, when the carcass of the tyre gets cooler, then we can go racing. And considering that's 10 laps to the end, I thought, okay, it's good to encourage him, but I don't think it's going to happen. Thank God that I'm his engineer, because I'd be saying, yeah.
Go racing, he did.
Exactly that. He managed to make up half a second on Leclerc in 1 lap alone by lap 48. And I think he was able to cool his tyres and then was fighting back to go racing with Leclerc. And by lap 51, there was some beautiful racing by these two.
Racing.
It was beautiful racing, lots of talent, huge. Norris lunged like nothing on it. This is you know what? In the interest of transparency, I'm just going to read out exactly what I wrote. Norris was closer than usual and lunged like nothing on fucking earth. Norris has gone for it, but Leclerc switches back and keeps the position. Norris tries again. He takes it off the inside. Leclerc tries to switch back, but Ferrari lost some rear grip defending. If that makes sense to you, fantastic. Doesn't make any sense to me.
It's like a doctor's prescription.
Yeah, I had no idea what that means. But by lap 52, he was clear and was in P2, and that is exactly where he stayed till the end of the race.
Very nice. Well, he made a bit of a harder job for himself, but he got the job done.
Yeah,
he did.
It was very, very exciting to watch, to be fair.
Yeah. Whoever got that P2 position deserved it, basically.
Yeah.
Yeah, it was cat and mouse the whole time, but I do think that by those two squabbling the whole race, they forgot that there was P1 up for grabs too. But Max was just so in control this race. I do think that Max has got an ability to be able to drive that car even when he's not comfortable, when he's at a level where he's got the pace in that car and the confidence and an open road, he just goes for it. So thank God for him, because I think that having a 3-way fight for this championship is so much more exciting and I'm living for it.
Now, what Max hasn't been able to do, however, is get the grand slam of a sprint weekend.
No.
Something nobody has been able to do, which is pole position in sprint quali.
Yep.
Sprint win.
Yep.
And sprint fastest lap. And pole position for the race, and race win, and race fastest lap.
Yeah.
And he couldn't do it this week because young Kimi Antonelli had the fastest lap.
Well, from the highs of the sprint race, where Sainz was able to finish P3 in the fucking sprint race, which was a fantastic result for him.
He's getting comfortable up the top
My
there.
man.
He is. It's almost like they shouldn't have let him go from Ferrari.
Yeah.
Anyway,
No comment.
it was all going swimmingly for both Antonelli and Sainz until it fucking wasn't. On lap 7, Antonelli and Sainz have contact. Now, they were doing the race replays for the race start. So we had to watch the incident of Antonelli just being bashed off the road in the smallest screen possible. Even if I watched it on my phone with the full screen, it wouldn't, I wouldn't be able to see it. So we missed crucial parts of that, even though we saw replays after the fact, but it was very annoying. Everyone on social media lost their minds in Singapore last time out because, as you remember, there was loads of exciting things happening, like Lewis Hamilton's brakes going and then Fernando Alonso, 2 world champions fighting each other to the line, and we didn't see any of it.
Yeah, and Sainz himself publicly commented on it, saying,
He did.
why are we looking at footage of our girlfriends when you didn't capture, 4 of my 5 overtakes?
It's so true. Okay, admittedly, it is interesting to see people's parents, parents of the drivers, and you think, oh, he looks like the dad, he looks like the mum, whatever. But
just Googling your own time.
Exactly. Like, really, I don't need to know what Ollie Behrman's dad looks like, realistically. I mean, it's interesting. I didn't, is he wearing a cowboy hat because he's in Austin, or does he always wear one? I don't know. But I'm never going to find out, so it doesn't really matter. But missing out the chance to see Carlos Sainz and Antonelli's crash in real time, it was very annoying. However, Sainz was completely out of the race. He had to park up and that was done. He went hot into a corner, locked his tyres up and bash, straight into Antonelli.
Yep.
Antonelli got spun round into the gravel, came back off and was able to continue running, but it was right at the back, bless him, after quite a good qualifying result. And that was that. And it said that it was going to be investigated after the race. But Nav, you have wide eyes and a phone unlocked in your hands, so I'm guessing you've got information to tell me.
It has been investigated. Why don't you have a guess at what you think the penalty for Sainz is?
Ooh. 10-second time penalty applied to next race.
No.
Oh.
A 5-place grid penalty for the next race.
Ooh.
And 2 penalty points, so he's now on 4 penalty points, which is
Ooh.
not
You
bad.
fancy a bad boy.
So it says, the stewards heard from the driver of car 55, Carlos Sainz, and the driver of car 12, Kimi Antonelli, team representatives, and reviewed video and in-car video evidence. Car 55 attempted an inside overtake on car 12 at turn 15, and a collision between the two cars occurred at the apex. The driver of car 55 maintained that he had expected the driver of car 12 to leave him space at the apex, but car 12 turned in early and car 55 locked brakes when it became clear that a collision would be unavoidable. He suggested that the driver of car 12 ought to have anticipated an overtake attempt by car 55 and left space to avoid contact. However, at no point prior to the apex was the front axle of car 55 alongside or ahead of the mirror of car 12. Therefore, according to the driver standards guidelines, car 55 had not earned a right to be left space at the apex. The stewards therefore determined that the driver of car 55 was predominantly to blame for the collision, and a penalty is applied accordingly. As the driver to be penalised did not finish a race, a grid penalty equaling a 10-second time penalty is imposed.
When they finally played the replay for the crash on the screen, like about 20 seconds after it happened, you could see from Kimi Antonelli's point of view, there is no way he could have seen Carlos Sainz
No, he just
behind
got
him.
clonked.
There's absolutely no way. He was just driving normally, trying to make sure that he has pace, and out of nowhere he just exactly got clonked by Carlos Sainz. And listen, I do love Sainz. But this is completely his fault, and him going on the radio and saying, I didn't expect Kimi to turn into me or whatever.
Yeah, he said,
like,
oh,
come
sorry, guys.
on.
Antonelli turned into me at the end.
Yeah, he should have just said, sorry, that was my fault, I locked up and I crashed into him, but he can't really blame it on him.
10 points if you can remember what Antonelli said.
What a fucking idiot.
Yes! He took me out. What a fucking idiot.
Fair
Damn.
fight.
Feisty Kimi you are.
But I will say for Antonelli, despite him, dropping down to 19th place after that crash, he's done brilliantly. He didn't end up making it in the points, but he was consistently getting fastest lap.
Yep.
And he was overtaking. So it was Hadjar and then it was Ocon, and he was very consistent. So for someone who dropped down to 19th out of something that wasn't his fault, for him to continue the race and then still have a very brilliant race, I thought it was, at least he could be commended for that.
I agree. I think P13 doesn't really represent how good he was driving today, because it really wasn't his fault. It must be said the Mercedes didn't have the best outing today, and Ferrari have taken a big chunk of points out of the side of them this weekend, because obviously Ferrari were able to bag themselves a P3 and a P4, which is really solid points from the pair of them. We had George Russell finished in P6, so that was 8 points, and then we had Antonelli out of the points. So Ferrari are currently catching up to Mercedes for P2 in the championship. It's not the most exciting storyline, but it is bubbling away.
It's happening.
It
So that
exciting.
is 7 points they've got to catch up to be able to, they're 7 points behind. They need to get 8 points to be in P2.
Yeah, I mean, and also, we didn't speak about Lewis for this race, but he did brilliantly.
He did do very well.
I obviously missed the first half of the race, and I came in and saw that he was in P3, and I was like, what the fuck have I missed?
Yeah, he was doing great. And, I mean, there was a very funny point where, I think it was before Leclerc had a pit stop, but he was just behind Norris, and Lewis was behind him, and Lewis was like keeping a bit of a distance between him and Norris up until that point, so he wasn't really trying to overtake him. As soon as it was Leclerc in P3, it's like he got so close to him to the point where I thought both of them were gonna crash into each other, and it's like, nope,
Gosh.
you're both in the top 5, you should not be crashing into each other.
They were fucking battling.
Yeah.
Like they, one, were not on the same team.
Yeah.
And two, like they hated each other.
Yeah.
I'm like,
Men, you both play chess. What the fuck is going on? Your friends outside of this, they were racing each other hard, Brev, for no fucking reason. And then I think it was very clear that Lewis had more pace than Leclerc. But the Ferrari, we don't have Maranello rules. They just box him out the way. Box him out the way. We're not going to deal with that. Box him out the way. So I quite liked that. Following with Ferrari is a bit of a drama. Would you like to hear more?
Yes.
Okay, so the last wins they've had is Charles Leclerc at COTA 2024 and Sainz in Mexico. So it's 12 months without a victory, which is Ferrari's longest drought since they last had this problem. 5 races without a podium, and they've dropped down to P3 in the Constructors. And how many points is Red Bull behind them? Holy crap! And Red Bull Racing are only 3 points behind them. Which is crazy because it's only Max scoring any fucking decent points.
Yep.
Yeah.
So the situation isn't great. They're not updating their car because they're now focused on 2026.
Fair.
So the rest of the season looks like it might be a little bit tricky. And they are avoiding a rare winless season now because they've won, obviously, Lewis asterisk, he's won the sprint race.
Mm-hmm.
But
You don't get a proper podium.
it's not a proper, and you only get 8 points for it. So it's not 25 points, is it? But it seems that in the land of Maranello and Ferrari, Charles Leclerc has pissed off the exact people you don't want to piss off, which is the engineers working on his car. He made very blunt comments after Singapore and said, unfortunately, we don't have the race car to fight with the guys in front. McLaren always had the same gap on us compared to the beginning of the year. Red Bull did a step from Monza and are in the same level of McLaren. Mercedes now is at the same level of McLaren and Red Bull, and then there's us. So it's a very damning way of speaking, considering...
He needs to be careful, otherwise the Pope's going to be on the blower saying he's upsetting Italian boys.
That is true. If anyone listening has not heard our last episode, deal with the fact you don't understand what the fuck Nav just said. It feels like we are passengers to the car and we cannot extract much more. And the killer line was, the picture we've seen this weekend is going to be what the rest of the season looks like for us.
Oh, there's not much hope in that, is there?
No. So the internal reaction that's gone on, according to a Italian sports publication, apparently some Ferrari engineers were angry with Leclerc for his uncompromising criticism of the car and how it was managed. And Leclerc's comments paint a discouraging picture of the entire Maranello environment.
Look, sometimes you just have to have a bitch about your team.
Not publicly.
Well,
Publicly? What the fuck?
that's what Glassdoor is for. Most people just aren't as brave and do it anonymously.
That's true. You'd think with the paycheck he gets, he can just keep his fucking mouth shut, but never mind. Fred Vasseur pushed back. He disagreed with the Leclerc's assessment. To be fair, anyway, he said the pace was there at the beginning of the weekend in both Baku and Singapore. We just didn't extract the same pace from the car. Called it mega frustrating to be struggling like hell all the race on the back foot due to braking issues, and suggested that they can win the top 3 if they just all work together, which was lovely. However, Fred Vasseur being very positive, there's rumours about Fred Vasseur.
What?
Yes. The background is that Ferrari's obviously winless for 2025, and realistically, they've just had a bit of a poo season with a bit of a poo car. And there's been repeated rumours about Fred Vasseur's job security throughout the year. In July, just before the summer break, Ferrari extended Vasseur's contract for several years to kill speculation.
Yeah, I thought we were done with this.
But recently, rumours have resurfaced after mounting on-track difficulties.
No!
I know.
Not Freddy the Frog!
And it was made worse because the Christian Horner rumours began.
Oh.
So, media reports after Singapore claimed that Ferrari were in talks with Christian Horner to become team principal in 2026. It's been reported that while Horner had contact with a senior Ferrari representative, sources say that Horner has no interest in being a team principal. Side note, Lewis also has no fucking interest in having Horner as a team principal because the first law of order that Horner will obviously do is be like, you're old, get out. So Horner famously apparently turned down the Ferrari job before when John Elkann visited his house in 2022.
Oh.
Shady much?
Sorry, Horner just wouldn't look good in red.
No.
No, that's true. He's got quite a red pigmenty sort of face anyway. So I think with the squinty eyes on top of that, I don't think it's going to work.
No.
Just for optics. Don't hire him for Ferrari.
Literally. Horner's focus was returning to F1 as part of an ownership structure of the team, similar to how Adrian Newey has done for Aston Martin. So instead of salary, he also gets a buttload of fucking money that he doesn't need. Possibly even part of a consortium entering a brand new squad. we are yet to see what will transpire with that. But ahead of the Grand Prix in the US, John Elkann made a statement. I want to express our full confidence in our team principal, Fred Vasseur, and in the work he is carrying out together with all our colleagues at the Scuderia Ferrari, the mechanics, engineers and drivers competing this weekend in Austin. I also want to reaffirm the importance of teamwork by everyone to maintain focus on the goal that matters. Always giving our best on track.
At me, bro.
Legit. Why is this a bit weird? Because in Canada, when similar speculation started, Ferrari's senior management stayed completely silent and refused to comment on any of the rumours. But this time, John Elkann proactively issued a public statement just to try and squash the story and the rumours, which is a bit weird.
Hey, Reem. Hey, who's John Elkann?
I told you this when we were watching the race.
An engineer.
Why would we be hearing from one engineer at
everything
Ferrari?
you just said made no significant value to Reem because she doesn't know who John Elkann is.
He is a chairperson of Ferrari.
Okay.
So he's on the board of Ferrari. He's
Okay.
very, very senior. He's also the main person that helped get Lewis into Ferrari. I'm not repeating what I said before, so just replace he's an engineer with he's a chairperson of Ferrari in your mind. Lewis Hamilton's take called the Horner rumours an unwelcome distraction. I think he'd call Christian an unwelcome distraction. I don't know where the rumours have come from, but it's a little bit distracting for us as a team. The team have made it clear where they stand in terms of re-signing Fred. These sorts of rumours can sometimes be distracting for everyone at the factory working hard, and focus should be on building next year's car and improving execution for 2026. So, although this weekend was fantastic for Ferrari, they had a massive turnaround from Friday all the way to Sunday because, my God, they've been able to dial that car and look much more dialed in and ready to race on Sunday. I thought it was interesting that this is probably a massive boost because they've just been following around rumours and drama in the midst of a car that isn't performing well.
But it's still not a win.
No. I don't
It's
think they're getting a
podium.
win.
It's podium at least.
But for their season, they'll be walking away saying we didn't get a single win. Mercedes have won twice, for God's sake.
Yeah, that's true.
So it's not like it's just been...
And even Nico Hulkenberg has had a podium.
Yeah, that's true.
What does
And
it mean?
Hadjar.
Yeah.
bad sights.
Yeah.
So, it's not like it's been McLaren have won every single race. It's impossible. They're untouchable. There has been fluctuations of performance, but they just haven't been able to get themselves a win.
Yeah, that's true.
By hook or by crook, the win escapes them. Shall we talk about the man that is under pressure? Under pressure in
Yes.
COTA.
Who is it?
Yes.
Who am I talking about?
Piastri?
Yes.
Oh, a weekend to forget,
Yes.
I feel.
If we think about some of the drivers that have got nicknames across the years, because Daniel Ricciardo was the Honey Badger, for example, Kimi Räikkönen was the Iceman. I'm pretty sure Alan Prost was he's the scientist. There's a few others. What are we giving Piastri?
The fumbler.
Ooh, that's surely got to be Leclerc.
Oh, yeah.
The
The-
emotionless. The one-note
The
man.
Skinwalker.
I have it. The one that got away.
Oh.
Oh.
I miss you. Because I don't.
So he should call him Katy Perry.
Oh my God! Yes, he's Katy Perry. No, I don't think he's going to get this championship.
Yeah, I don't think so
I
either.
still sincerely think it's going to be Max. Like,
Yeah.
to a point where I'm shocked at myself for saying it, but I think it's going to be Max.
Yeah. Which I
Million
think would be
percent.
so funny.
It will be. Because
Everyone had written him off until race 17.
Yep.
there's a lot of people I've spoken to, outside of this podcast, and it's been like, at points in the season, it's been like, wow, McLaren is so dominant, or like, Piastri is definitely going to win. Oh, it's going to be so sad when Lando doesn't win his first championship. I'm like, they're not going to win. Neither of them are going to win. It could be Max. He doesn't need to do, he's not so far away that this could end up being Piastri and Norris are so busy squabbling with other drivers that Max can just race by race just keep driving off into the distance. And I thought George Russell made an interesting point. George Russell, when he doesn't win or get a good result, is always funny to listen to. He said, if I'd have made a good move into turn one, I would have been further ahead. And I'm like, yeah, no fucking shit. No fucking shit. But he was basically saying qualifying is huge for your result on Sunday.
Huge.
It's huge. It's absolutely massive. And on top of that, turn one, getting a good exit and be able to do some quick overtakes into turn one could be the make or break of your race. And looking at Max, That's exactly what he was able to do. He was able to qualify fantastically, and then going into turn 1, he was able to scamper away and just eke out that gap until suddenly it was an 11-second gap and kept increasing. So I think if Max can do that periodically every single race, I know that's like really easy to say, but I think where McLaren are both on the back foot, especially Piastri, it's lending it straight to Max's psyche. Like, I just need to keep doing what I'm doing. Whereas for Piastri especially, he's got a big mountain to climb. So let's talk about it. Sprint race, he collided into Nico. Well, he was a passenger in that collision, really. In turn 1, he's out. But then Verstappen ended up winning, took 8 points out of his lead. Qualifying, Max was on pole. Norris was able to be P2. And then Piastri was only P6. And he was almost 0.3 slower than Norris. Basically needed to come straight through the pack on Sunday. But he was explaining that the kind of behaviour that we've had a couple of times throughout the season came into play today. Said the car was back in one piece after the sprint repairs and was set up as intended. Everything felt normal, but the problematic behaviour returned. Doesn't think it was related to any of the sprint crash repairs, and just said his weekend has just not clicked for him. Coming into the race, he was saying, I didn't feel comfortable in the car. I don't think that I've made any major mistakes this weekend. It's just not really working. And then we came into the race and he wasn't making any impact. He was getting caught by Russell behind him. Lewis was just being able to scamper away. I mean, Lewis, I didn't feel he was under threat from Piastri at any point that whole 56 laps. And I just felt he was in no man's land. He was sort of how Lewis is a lot of the races, where not able to catch up to the pack ahead. He's sort of getting chased behind and ends up sort of just stalling in the middle of no man's land, sort of farting about, which is so unlike Piastri.
Yeah.
If we go back to the Dutch Grand Prix at the end of August, Oscar Piastri won there, and he was able to have a 34-point lead over Norris.
Yeah.
Crazy.
But if we have a look today, he's finished behind both of his rivals in the championship, and he's also finished behind Max and Lando at the last 4 races. He seems to be having a cacophony of fuck-ups and issues and errors and yucky times, and also a bit of a drop-off in pace.
Yeah.
It's all very strange.
The fall-off is crazy.
Really crazy. He seems a bit chilled out for a man that is sort of watching his championship lead and championship hopes sort of slither away.
Yeah.
The reason I think that both the McLaren drivers in Lando and Oscar need to get a rocket ship inside their bum and to light the other end of it and go is because 2026 is such an unknown. This is the last season of this regulation cycle, and they know categorically they have a car that's putting them into the championship fight. They've already tied up the constructors, but no one's going to give a fuck. Oh, I helped McLaren get the constructors 2020. Who gives a fuck? No one cares.
Literally.
What you want is the eternal bragging rights. Your
Max
name
did it single-handedly for years.
Literally. And you want to have that name of yours engraved into the side of a trophy, and it will be immortalised forevermore. That 2025, that was your fucking year. Look at Nico Rosberg. He does the channel, he does the commentary on Sky Sports, and he won in 2016, did it once, and then left. I mean, that's literally, you could do the exact same thing as Nico Rosberg. But I just don't think that currently Piastri's got the right momentum going with him. But it's just very interesting because I just don't think that currently he seems to be having the run of form that he needs to get this thing done.
Well, I don't know if it's that the McLaren team and the McLaren drivers are just not waking up to Max Verstappen being a threat, because they seem so much more concerned with things like papaya rules, Lando Norris getting priority over Oscar Piastri, little stupid petty drama on the track, that I think for them, because they've been leading up until a few races ago, in their head they think they've got the championship nailed down. It's going to go either Piastri or Norris, and we've already got constructors. We don't have any threat. We don't have any competition, and they're just letting Max fly by. And I think now there's only 5 races left. I think they're going to get to the next one, and if Max wins the next one, they're going to be like, fuck.
No, I think they've woken up this weekend.
Hopefully.
Do you think that since Baku and the stroke of bad luck that Piastri had there and then carried into Singapore, do you think he's resigned a bit? Do you think he's given up, lost hope?
No, I think that Piastri would love nothing more than be able to win this championship. Do I think that the pressure is starting to mount now and we're starting to see cracks of that pressure? Yes. I feel like it's a delayed reaction because he was leading this very comfortably and he was doing that typical thing they all do. Well, oh well, I'm leading for the
We'll
first
just
time in my
see
whole
what
career.
happens.
Who cares? I mean, championship, bleh, I don't even care that much. And now that it's slipping away from him, he's like, I don't care. I never cared anyway. Who gives a fuck? I just come to race and that's that. So I feel like maybe he's having to resign himself to the fact that, like, okay, I need to step my pussy up and... Imagine if he said that. I need to step my pussy up, and I've got a guy that knows how to win it because he's done it 4 times already, and his car seems to be miraculously very fucking quick and working in all the right areas for him. And on top of that, I mean, a stunning race from Lando Norris today as well.
Mm-hmm.
So he's also got Lando to worry about. So I don't know if he's resigned to it, but I definitely think that Piastri, whatever he's missing right now, he needs to get his ducks in a row, because those two are starting to close up that championship battle, and he might end up noticing those points are getting less and less and less.
What I found interesting was Dr. Helmut Marko's comments on Max, which I believe he made after the sprint race, when he was being interviewed, basically, not by Service TV. Someone actually dared have him on.
Oh my word.
I know. But he essentially was saying that mid-season, Max had kind of given up a little bit.
Yeah, he was very uninterested and
was,
unmotivated.
Uninterested, unmotivated, basically was looking at it and being like, I haven't got a car that's going to win me a championship this year. Therefore, fuck F1.
Yeah.
I'm going to go to Nürburgring and try and win
As Franz
that.
Hermann.
As Franz Hermann. I'm going to create a whole new identity for myself if I
Yeah.
can't win this year's F1 championship.
We all missed it, but he had an identity crisis.
Yeah.
He was like, I'm a dad, and I don't want to be Max Verstappen, so I'm going to be Franz Hermann. I'm just
We
going to drive
weren't here
around.
to support him through it, and for that, we're really sorry.
Yeah.
But in the last few races, he's basically found himself again and was
Yep.
just like, no, I'm motherfucking Max Verstappen and I can still win this. And suddenly he cares about F1 again.
Helmut Marko also said that they found that there's 0.2 that Max has been able to find in pace that is purely just from Max Verstappen feeling motivated.
Damn.
'Cause
Crazy.
It's not from the workings of the car. The car has given them extra pace, but apparently there's like 0.2 that he's just able to find now that's like, that's just Max when he wants to race.
So what you're saying is Yuki Tsunoda, Sergio Perez, Daniel Ricciardo, Alex Albon, Pierre Gasly, none of them were just motivated.
Yeah.
Ooh.
Do you know
bold
what I'm also
allegation.
thinking Ferrari are going to think? Max Verstappen hasn't been motivated and is still able to win this championship. Lewis Hamilton will not stop sending us fucking documents, and he's done fuck all for us. That's what I think. But maybe I'm just a bitch. I don't know.
I saw a video online, and obviously you just can't trust any videos online anymore, because there are some that would suggest that Einstein and the Queen and are, competing in the Olympics.
No, Ray did not go and cuddle up to Lewis Hamilton when Roscoe died, and there was a photographer there to see that moment.
That wasn't what I was going to say.
Oh, sorry. We have different timelines.
No, it was a video of Leclerc basically in the media pen, and his press officer or whatever was talking to him and saying, like, you can't talk about this, you can't talk about this, blah, 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 blah. And Leclerc essentially was just like, I'm going to say whatever the fuck I want, and, like, gets on the mic and starts popping
Is that
off.
real?
I don't know.
It definitely isn't real.
Yeah, it doesn't seem real.
It doesn't seem real.
I would like it to be, though.
I mean, there's loads of things we'd all like to be real. I'd like to be 5'8", but it's just not the
Leclerc
situation.
is so media trained, and like he's already coming out and saying like, "Oh, they're a bit shit, and the car's shit, and blah blah blah." Imagine if one day he just like took to the mic and was just like, "Here are all the fucking things that are wrong at Ferrari."
Yeah, but he has too many receipts. Like, the mic would run out of battery. He has too many receipts.
Exactly. He needs to write a tell-all book.
That is true.
Speaking of tell-all books, did you hear about Ted Kravitz's book?
Yes. How much do you know of who Ted Kravitz is?
I don't know who Ted Kravitz
He's
is.
the what? The guy Ted in the pit lane from the commentary that we watch.
Okay. I don't watch the commentaries, but
You
He
listen
talks
to it.
during
actual
the race.
race.
Yes.
oh, one of the Okay. Okay.
Ted from the
okay.
pit lane.
Okay.
The one that's always giving information on what's going on with pit stops and tyres and stuff like that.
Okay.
I can tell from your eyes you have nothing going on in your head. I know you haven't retained that. You don't know who Ted is, do you?
Is he the one who's super technical?
He is quite technical, yeah.
Yeah.
Okay, then yeah.
I mean, they're all technical.
Well, yeah, they're more technical than we fucking are.
Is he
but-
the one with the screen?
No.
No,
Oh.
that's Kurin Chandok.
Oh.
Okay, well, the guy that you don't know has written a book.
Okay.
Let's move on. Okay.
No, but I wanted to say I'm desperate to read this book because he's spilling tea, including tea on the whole George and Max situation.
Oh.
So back when all of the drama and the tea was like still piping hot, and Ted's obviously, you know, trying to reignite the flame underneath it to get it bubbling again. He said that apparently George came up to him for his interview and said, I'm going to answer your question, but ask me a follow-up question. I know you're only allowed to ask one question normally, but ask me as many as you like. I'm ready to talk. Because he was going to start spilling shit on Max and basically said, ask me whatever you want. I'm spilling all.
Damn.
He is the Karen of F1.
He is, but I love it.
I
It's
know,
very
but oh my
entertaining.
god, he's like...
He's just a girly.
It's like when someone goes into a restaurant and they're like, I know you're not meant to give me 3 ice cubes, but I want 7. Like, it's just, he's just annoying. But we live for him, I guess.
Yeah.
I just love the drama in F1. Like, I feel like the easiest way to get someone who doesn't like sport to watch F1 is just saying the drama is reality show level drama.
Yes,
Start
right, okay.
watching it because of that.
Netflix, hear me out. F1 version of like Geordie Shore.
Oh.
I
I've
think
never
they
seen
should
George Shore.
maybe it could be called like F1 After Dark, and it's Drive to Survive, but it's when they all go out partying.
Ooh.
Yes.
Like that one
And
episode.
that would be like Geordie Shore.
Like that one episode from the latest season where they were all basically all the videos were like selfie videos.
The word is
from
called
them.
vlogs, you fucking
Vlog
grandma.
videos.
Selfie videos.
Got a name for it. It was all. I think it was for Singapore.
Yeah.
Was it?
I
And
think
it
they
was
were
all, like,
uploading it on TikTok.
it was all vlog footage. I think they should just do a whole season of like vlog footage. But
Oh my
it's, like,
god,
hidden-
instead of
hidden stuff.
DTS, no, they do it in like nightclubs and stuff like
Yeah.
that, because they all go to like the bougie nightclubs where
Yeah.
they bring out like, you know, the
Bottle
1,000
service.
bottle of Ace of Spades and
Yeah.
with the sparklers in it and whatnot. So they go there and they all get a bit tipsy and
Yeah.
they all start getting a bit loose lipped.
And they play Truth or Dare.
And they call it, instead of DTS,
You'll never get invited to any party ever.
instead of calling it DTS, Drive to Survive, it's DUI,
Whoa.
drinking under the influence.
Whoa.
Oh,
Netflix.
drinking under the influence.
Driving under the influence. Netflix, I'm still tweaking. But hit me up for my royalties.
Don't advertise your tweaking.
Tweaking the concept.
Okay, there we go. I've got a talking point about Mercedes. Do you want me to do it in like a bitchy valley girl kind of thing?
Yes.
Okay.
No, do it in Texan accent.
Well, Russell won in Singapore. Is this a Texan
Can you
accent?
do Valley Girl meets Southern?
I'm not fucking Charles Entertainer. Fuck off. I'm like, why you sing a song?
I'll just go back to Trump.
Russell won in Singapore. No, I don't want to. Okay, so obviously Russell won in Singapore. Antonelli's been able to return to some stronger form that we saw earlier in the season. They're now P2 in constructors, although they're very not that far away from Ferrari, but still. Toto Wolff's tough love seemed to work on Antonelli, because remember he was saying, oh, it was a very underwhelming and disappointing
Yes.
performance. That seems to have worked. But we have a confirmed driver contract for Mr.
It's
George
about
Russell.
damn time.
It really is. Thank you, Lizzo. So Russell and Antonelli staying on for 2026. This will be Russell's 5th season with the team, Antonelli's 2nd. Russell's contract multi-year deal, at least 2026, 2027, possibly longer. They're doing this whole thing now where they just say multi-year and it doesn't really mean anything and we don't know what it means, but there we go. Antonelli's status is not publicly detailed, but is likely a longer term with options. And the key detail is that only 2026 is confirmed publicly, leaving 2027 and beyond open.
Ooh.
That's
Red-
just the max clause, isn't it?
Literally. So, the Verstappen question. The door was left ajar for Max in 2027 if Mercedes dominates new regulations. Toto Wolff has made no secret of wanting Verstappen. He's held talks on and off for 2 years. Toxic. Max's Red Bull contract runs to 2028, but it has performance clauses for early exit, as we've discussed a lot this year. Max is confirmed for staying at Red Bull for 2026 in July, and the Russell-Verstappen pairing is considered unlikely due to their history of drama.
Fair.
Qatar 2024 confrontation, as we all well know. This is going to change things because 2026, Mercedes are tipped to do very well in this regulation cycle because the last time the engines changed for the regulations in 2014, Mercedes won 8 straight constructors titles and 7 drivers titles. They're one of only 3 teams that will be producing their own engines, and the paddock whispers saying they're looking better than the rest.
Damn. Lewis is going to regret leaving.
Yep.
Legit. So if Mercedes get this right for 2026, then Russell is in the best position ever to be able to get himself his first world title. His Singapore win confirms that he's able to win races, and his Karen ways tells us he will be able to say he wants to be number 1 driver, and Kimi Antonelli will not be listened to. But his new contract also places him in the similar pay bracket, only behind Verstappen and Hamilton.
Damn.
Yeah.
Wow.
I know. I think
Oh,
he's
yeah,
getting paid.
well.
Who does he think he is?
Legit, I think he's getting paid around 30 mil. It pays to be a Karen. You know that's
Honestly.
Yeah.
Imagine the whole time it was nothing to do with Max. It was just George like, I want more money. I want money.
That is my
Story checks
theory.
out.
It was just contract negotiations and he wanted more.
Give me,
More,
give
more,
me
more.
more.
Oh, we
we
both-
went for different songs.
Wow, 2 different types of show tunes there.
Damn.
Oh, we went for Britney.
Bottom line, Verstappen's manager has said 2026 will be a very important year for us, and that will determine where Max's future lies. But that applies to all the top drivers, because the new regulations could really shake up the pecking order. And if Mercedes is betting that they'll nail it, Russell's betting on that too, obviously, they could be leaving the door open for Verstappen if that is the case.
Is there a world for a Mercedes Hamilton reunion?
No. What I want to see is what I thought of the other day, which is I think that if Christian Horner went over to Ferrari and partnered with Charles Leclerc and Lewis Hamilton, and then Verstappen went over to Mercedes, partnered with Kimi Antonelli and Toto Wolff. 2026, the 2 top teams are Ferrari and Mercedes, and there we have a reverse of 2021 all over again.
Damn.
But this time,
The
it's
toxic edition.
exactly. Instead of Toto Wolff calling Christian Horner a windbag, Christian Horner is calling Toto a windbag. And instead of Max landing on top of Lewis's car, it's the other way round. And instead of Max being shoved at 56 Gs into the wall at Silverstone, it's Lewis. Everything's opposite.
Okay, but there is like an alternate universe where that did happen in 2021.
That's true. Let's not get into the Matrix, though. No, we can't be doing that.
It's the multiverse.
Oh, yeah,
Please.
you're right. Sorry, the Matrix is very different. But let's not get into the multiverse. I think that would be the most epic thing in the whole world to watch.
Yeah, no, it does sound good. But where does it leave Leclerc? Because Leclerc might not want to be there.
There is talks that the Leclerc camp are getting sick and tired of this Ferrari shit.
Fair.
So they're basically saying that they need Ferrari to give him a good car for 2026. And the same as George and also Verstappen and everyone else on the grid is like, we're going to see what the team have done with the 2026 car. And if it's poo, we're going to start thinking about leaving for 2027. Piastri apparently is getting courted by Red Bull currently.
Oh, really?
By Red Bull.
There's rumours flying around. There's
my
literally,
damn.
this is what I'm saying. The exciting thing for 2026 is that no one knows nothing and everyone is talking like they know everything.
Yeah.
Everything's happening. So
Can't wait.
anybody who is getting into F1 and maybe you're just a DTS girly, maybe you're an F1 fanboy, whatever it is in between, we accept all over here. 2026, if you're going to do anything in February, don't celebrate Valentine's Day. Don't start doing your New Year's resolutions. Watch the F1 fucking preseason testing because
Yeah.
it gets televised and we will be able to find out, finally, the answers to all these questions we have currently.
Like
and it
Horner
will change
said,
things.
It's when we all get to track, pull down our pants, and see what everyone's working
Yeah, no more lying. No more sending pictures late at night, making things look bigger than they actually are. Suddenly we all have to just see, in the cold light of day, what's going on.
with. Yeah.
What are you looking at?
The
It was a
phrasing of
wonderful.
that.
It was a wonderful phrasing.
Thank you. So, yeah, lots of rumours flying around, but I don't know. I feel like maybe whenever there's like a dominant force in Formula One, it just makes me want everything to go into chaos mode.
Yeah.
But we'll see.
Damn.
Well, that was the race. That was COTA. That was Austin. It was Texas. It was the United States.
It was huge.
And it was huge.
It was huge.
It was amazing.
It was amazing.
We've made F1 great again.
Do you know what's better than this race?
What?
Me and my abilities to run a country.
Oh.
Superpower of the world.
And now it's time for...
I hope it's not Nancy Pelosi. I can't stand her. Awful woman. Awful politics. Stupid skirt.
But what about Ream's recap?
I don't like Reem. I'm not sure about her at all.
Story
She's got no brains. She has no direction. Fake news. Daddy signs. Disgusting. Daddy issues.
He's not wrong. But, Reem, it's time for Reem's recap.
Max Verstappen won.
Max Verstappen.
Stupid voice.
It's everything that's wrong with this world.
Let me do this.
Nav sounds like a Trump AI voice. Everything wrong with this world. Why aren't you talking?
So pressure.
You're wasting my time.
Max Verstappen wins the United States
Why did you
Grand
pause? You should know.
Say Singapore. Max Verstappen wins the United States Grand Prix after an incredible weekend where he also won the sprint and he qualified in pole.
The boring
And he's
koala
currently-
didn't do very well. Talk about that.
Oscar.
I just gave you an order. Get on with it.
Oscar Piastri remains emotionless after not winning another race since Baku. And
Why did you say it like that? You sound crazy.
I forgot what choice it was.
Baku.
Baku.
You can't even say a simple word. It's only 2 syllables.
Baku.
Yeah, well done.
What did I say?
Baku.
Oh.
You sound like a dog. Baku.
Oscar Piastri remains emotionless after not winning another race since Baku.
Baku.
And he's
George Russell got a
accepted-
contract. He's getting paid loads. It's huge.
George Russell carried it out in the Mercedes discussion room or HR team, and he managed to get.
Never
a
mind, I don't
significant-
like Karens. Move on.
Move on. I don't like women very much either, just to let you know.
Oh.
My hate for women is huge.
Are you gonna give me any more?
Carlos Sainz retires from the race.
Carlos Sainz made some very big mistakes this weekend, but you know what? He's still Daddy Sainz, so we still stand.
He
even if
ruined
made a big
Antonelli's
mistake.
race. Antonelli ended up out of the points. Very disappointing.
Yeah,
Very
but
disappointing.
listen, Antonelli still got to show off his driving skills because he then made it up to 13th.
And what about the contact between Yuki Tsunoda and Oliver Behrman?
I don't remember it.
He got spun around. The impact was huge.
It's probably Yuki Tsunoda's fault.
The segment fallen flat. Wrap it up.
And that is the end of the United States Grand Prix, but not the end of this podcast.
Why not?
Because we have the Grand Prix podium.
I didn't like how you said that. It's the Grand Prix podium.
I love that. It was beautiful.
Thank you.
Best intro to a segment I've ever heard.
Thank you. I've worked hard. And I think I can make this huge.
I also think you could build a wall, a big wall.
Mm-hmm.
Biggest wall ever.
Yeah.
Even bigger than China.
And I'll put it around Coda so that no one can come in without me knowing about it first.
Yep. We'll get the helicopters because we're huge. We get what we want. We spend money. And I get impeached. Lex, let's do it.
Okay, who are we going to pick for the prick of the week? The person whose performance let us down, let themselves down, let their parents and their pets down. Shall we say it in 3, 2,
1.
Oscar
Piastri.
Piastri.
Oh, Fernando Alonso.
Yes.
Random.
Well, I just thought he gave up on himself with his Instagram post. Yes, it was funny, but he's essentially accepted that, you know, he's done with this year. He kind of just wants it over and done with.
Yeah, but he's saying that his luck meter needs to be recharging for 2026.
Okay, but if I just called myself unlucky every time that I personally fucked up, I would never take any accountability for anything. Like, he has made mistakes.
Yeah.
His mistake in the race, in the sprint race, he wasn't just unlucky. He made a mistake.
Yeah, but if we remember from the start of the season, he was pointless, physically, actually pointless, getting paid millions, and it was Lance Stroll that was carrying the burden of the whole Aston Martin team on his back. And by the summer break, they're on the same amount of points. So that tells you that even though he's made mistakes, you can never undermine the power of a Fernando Alonso. And even
That's
today,
true.
he managed to finish in P10. So yes, it's only one championship point, but he was able to get P7 in Singapore, so that was 6 points, even though the luck was against him. And he did end up looking a bit more like a bowling ball during the sprint than he did a racing engineer. He's not a racing engineer, that makes no sense. A race car driver. He is still being able to come back from dismay and unlucky trips to places. And yes, he may call it out on social media, but I find that endearing and quaint.
I also think he's just dramatic.
Okay, well, like I said, I missed the first half of the race, so I'm going off information that I know. You can reach a consensus
Social
together.
media information.
You can
That's a
reach-
good point. That didn't relate to anything in the race.
We've recapped the whole
It was the
race.
sprint. It was still the weekend.
Okay. Well, who did you say?
I said Oscar Piastri.
I said the boring koala.
Yeah, for
Okay, so he takes it. What are your reasons?
well, Oscar Piastri. I think.
Yeah, we
I
asked
think-
for your reason, not for you to pretend to throw up.
I think I was collecting my thoughts. Thank you.
Is
I
that you
think,
collect your thoughts? 1 second.
I think Oscar Piastri just had a really, really bad race this weekend. Just had a bad weekend.
Yeah, I was going to say,
overall.
it's not just this race.
Yeah, and for him to finish in P5 while Lando Norris got a podium is very unlike Piastri. I mean, I think to an extent you're right about him potentially giving up or like pretending that he's given up.
Yeah.
And I think he's getting all bothered by papaya rules, by the McLaren strategy team. I think he's still very much bothered by what happened with the last race and how they're prioritizing Norris. But I don't think that should get him in his head, because with Norris, while he's had a lot of fuck-ups this season and he's had 2 crashes, he still comes back every race after that and he gives it his all. He ends up making up for it, and he at least like puts in the work. And it's the same with Max. He had like a bit of a period of giving up, but then he ended up getting his pace back and he kept trying. But with Piastri, I feel like as soon as something goes wrong, it takes him a lot longer to get his game back up. And I think this weekend was just not his weekend. And he needs to really start picking up the pace moving forward, because his position in the Drivers' Championship is very much threatened at the minute. It could be taken by either Norris or it could be taken by Verstappen. So I think he needs to wake up a little bit.
All right, you're rambling now. We're going to move on.
I agree.
Move on. Who was grand, whose performance was not as good as mine, but, might be as good as my vice secretary, my vice president.
Ooh.
3, 2, 1.
Max
Kimi
Verstappen.
Antonelli. Ooh.
We all got different ones.
No, she said Antonelli too.
Oh.
Do you just not listen?
Oh.
So
I'm
rude.
valid too. Pick me. Choose me.
Love
Me.
Is that a meme?
Yes.
Do you know what's becoming a meme? You saying, is that a meme?
That could be a compilation for
Literally.
the season.
I said Kimi Antonelli because I think even though he had a little tap from Daddy Sainz, as we're now calling him, he still managed to make up some places, do some
True.
pretty impressive overtakes.
True.
As a redemption drive goes, even though he finished outside of the points, he should still be very proud of himself.
From my point of view for Antonelli, I think that he seems a lot more on it. Mercedes have a very positive attitude when it comes to nurturing talent within their team and looking after drivers. And I think that him and Bono, it's always a joy to hear those two on the radio together. They seem to be singing from the same hymn sheet, unlike some people. So I think that with those great people in Mercedes being able to encourage Antonelli, on top of that, an upturn in performance from Mercedes, although they didn't seem to be as on the pace in full race trim in COTA as they were earlier in the weekend, which was a bit of a shame to see. But it was a race that we'll never have really seen the full potential of because of that incident with Sainz. But I still thought that he was able to get it back on track, managed to continue his race with gravel all over those fucking dusty tyres that he would have had, and was able to do some really, really rather nifty and handy overtakes. So I think it represents for me more of an upturn in Kimi Antonelli's momentum, mindset and performance. So I think he did fantastically, even though it didn't really reflect because he got P13.
Yeah, fair. I mean, I'll be honest, Antonelli was going to be my second choice,
Fair.
but I went for Max Verstappen because I have someone else picked for Grand Prix, but I think Max Verstappen has just been so impressive
Yeah.
to watch for the past few races, and he also just makes it exciting to see him lead a race.
Yeah.
Because the way that he drives is just so interesting to watch. I feel like sometimes with Piastri or with Norris, it gets a bit boring to watch them win a race. But with Verstappen, it's always fun to watch because he just does it so, so brilliantly. And I know we gave him Grand Prix last race, but I mean, for me, it's still like from now on, I think any race that he wins is just going to be at least a Grand or Grand Prix for me because of his performance and his skills.
I think for Max Verstappen, I think what he did this weekend is starting to become sort of like vintage Max Verstappen.
Yeah.
What we know him for is being able to have fantastic quali. He's, you should really never count him out of qualifying, to be honest with you. But he's also been able to kill that deficit off like nothing on earth because he's obviously 40 points off the championship lead. The deficit for the championship for him was 104 points only 4 races ago.
Damn. If
If that doesn't tell you that that's what Max Verstappen is able to do, that make the difference of in a championship battle, nothing will convince you of his greatness. So another stat for you. He finished 1 minute and 12 seconds behind the race winner in Hungary just 6 races ago. So, yes, obviously all the guys and gals over in Red Bull have been doing a stellar job at being able to get that car in a better working window and have some upgrades to help it along. But that all means diddly if you don't have a driver that can hop into the cockpit and be able to make the difference. So, I agree. The reason I didn't give it to Max is because I said it last time. I gave him Grand Prix last week because it's Max. But I think he sets the standard so high that sometimes I almost discount it because it's like, well, he's in the Max category. But I still think he did fantastically, as you said.
Okay, and then going on to Grand Prix, whose performance this weekend has been as brilliant, as award-winning, or highly commendable as our podcast.
Yeah, who should we commend as highly as our podcast is?
3, 2, 1. Lando
Charles
Norris.
Leclerc.
Oh,
And you went different.
I'm the odd one out.
You are, but I would argue they could easily share this top title.
Yeah.
Yes.
But Nav, take us away.
I said Lando Norris because he made his journey onto the second step difficult for himself,
Yes.
but still put in some very impressive moves to be able to secure himself second place. And I think where the championship is heating up between himself and Piastri, he's done well to close the gap a bit to Piastri. He was obviously a passenger in a rather brutal attack during the sprint, and, that was completely out of his control, so he should not be penalised and disregarded from any discussion on this podium as a result of that. But he still managed to get second place while his teammate is fanning about in 5th.
Yes.
So I think he should be highly commended for that.
I think that's fair enough.
I mean, I would agree with you on potentially Norris and Leclerc sharing the Grand Prix position.
Yeah.
Because for me, it couldn't go either.
Yeah.
I think they were both amazing. I think Leclerc defending against Norris was brilliant to watch because you missed that part of the race. But genuinely watching that go on screen, I'm like, he's doing amazing. Both of them are doing amazing. Neither of them have crashed into each other, but they've put on a great show, and they've all done their best. And with Leclerc, I think he had a bit of a rough start to the weekend. He wasn't. I don't think any of us kind of went into this race expecting Leclerc to do that amazingly.
No,
or
he had
any of the
gearbox
Ferrari
issues on Friday
Yeah.
practice. So yeah, the Ferrari was all over the place on Friday. They've done
Yeah.
a great turnaround this weekend.
Yeah, and we didn't really expect that, but then to see Leclerc really give it his all, I think he would also deserve Grand Prix.
Yeah, for me, I think I actually think there was a point made in the commentary, which is a very good point, is why Norris decided not to go onto the soft tyre to start with and to get a spicier start off the line against Verstappen, which, looking back, would have been a really great idea. So I thought it was a very bold choice for Ferrari to split their strategy. And I know that Leclerc likes a little bit of a split strategy, maybe. He likes to do his own thing. So I think it was very indicative of Charles Leclerc in the background saying, I'd like to do that, please. So that was the first tick in the box. He qualified great. And then on top of that, he was able to make some great overtakes into turn 1. That made the difference. That was when Norris lost out his chance to sail off into P2. So that was my reason for giving Charles Leclerc the top step. Had it been Lando Norris scampering off into the distance, then I would have given it to Lando. But I think Charles Leclerc's overtake that seemed, it was pacey and off the line because he had the extra grip from the soft tyres. But I thought the fact that he was able to keep Lando at bay for as many laps as he did, and then had to do it a second time later in the race after Lando and Leclerc had pitted, I thought it was just a masterclass from Leclerc. He did fantastically with a car which doesn't always turn up for him. So yeah, I think he deserves that.
Okay, so our Grand Prix podium is as follows. The prick of the weekend, Oscar Piastri.
Yes.
The grand of the weekend, Kimi Antonelli.
Yes.
And the Grand Prix, the driver who is as highly commendable as this podcast, is Charles Leclerc.
Charles Leclerc.
So that is it for COTA. And now we're moving a bit more southernly.
Sure.
To Mexico.
We are indeed. I'm very excited for Mexico. I like Mexico.
I do like the Mexico Grand Prix, I can't lie.
Yeah, it's a very, very... I love
It's vibrant.
Vibrant. There's lots of exciting bits and bobs and installations that they do. A lot of the teams do special liveries for this race. And on top of that, there's just like the fans are so dedicated and so into Formula One, obviously because we had Checo Perez, who will be driving for Cadillac next year when he was in Red Bull. My God, the crowds were absolutely adoring of Checo, but they're always very passionate and lively, and so is the racing, so I'm so excited for it.
Yep, and that will be in your ears with Grand Prix in a week's time. In the meantime, though, make sure you like, follow, share, subscribe to all things Grand Prix. You can find us on your podcast player of choice, but if you're listening to this, you've, I assume, already found it.
Yeah.
And we're also on Instagram, TikTok, X, and YouTube. Share us with friends, get involved, interact with us on socials, maybe ask us a fun little question, or just tell us how much you adore us.
A polite question. The last question we officially got on social media was, what the fuck is this podcast? Thank you so much for listening. Keep listening to me. I'm very important. I know more than you. Goodbye and good night. Huge.